Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1 Unit 3 review on the booklet. We are on video number 2. The first one was getting kind of long, so I had to stop it. Anyways, we left off on page number 7. I just gotta find it. There it is, page 7 right there on the right. Alright, so now what we got for us? Writing slope-intercept equations given 2 points. So they want us to write a slope-intercept equation of a line that passes through the points 1, -3 and 8, -6. So if we're going to write slope-intercept, the first thing we need is the slope, okay? So remember, this is an equation you need to memorize. We got 6 plus 3 on the top, and we got -8 minus 1, and that turns to a plus. So, oh, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry. -8 minus 1. It's like, what? What's going on? Okay. Wake up, Mr. Grice. 6 plus 3 is 9. -8 minus 1 is 9. But that's -9. So then when we figure out our slope when we reduce it is -1. So we found the slope, and now the next thing we have to do is plug it into point slope, okay? Our slope is -1. You can use any point you want to. I'm going to use the 3 and 1. Okay. So we need to distribute, and we get y plus 3 equals -1x plus 1. -1 times -1 is a +1. So we have to subtract 3 to both sides, and then we get y equals -1x minus 2. And there you go. That's our equation. Example number 2. So once again, you're doing the same thing. We need to figure out what the slope is. -4 plus 12 and 6 minus 10. Well, -4 plus 12 is 8. And 6 minus 10 is -4. And when you reduce that, you get -2. Okay. So now you need to plug into this form. So why don't you pick a point, pause the video, and see what you get. Okay, once you're done with everything, you should get y equals -2x plus 8. All right, number 3, you are all on your own. The first thing you need to do is find the slope. And after you find the slope, plug in, okay? All on your own. Good luck. Hey, just want to check in. Did you guys get the right slope? If you didn't get the right slope, pause the video, fix it, and keep going. Okay, and when you're all done, you should get y equals -1/2 x. All right, let's move on to page number 8. No. Page number 8, where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, horizontal lines. So graph the line y equals -2. Now, if you forget how to graph this, why don't you just draw a couple points, X and Y. Okay. Y is -2 the entire time. Pick a negative number, pick 0, and pick a positive number. So when X is -3, Y is -2. When X is 0, Y is -2. When Y is 3, or when X is 3, Y is -2. And when you're done, you get this line that goes straight across. Okay, that is a horizontal line. When we have a horizontal line, it's lazy. It's flat. It just says, I'm going to lay down. That's a 0 slope. Okay? That's something that you just need to memorize. Now, example number 2 says write a slope-intercept equation of the following line. Well, what's the slope? It's flat. It's lazy. That means the slope is 0. Okay? Now, let's look at those 2 points. Right there we have the point -3, 3. And right here we have the point +3, 3. What's the same in each one of those? Isn't the y the same? Yeah, y is the same in each one of those. And y equals 3. Number 3 says write a slope-intercept equation of a line with the slope of 0. Okay, if it's a slope of 0, it's horizontal, and we know it's a y equals. Okay, so we look to see which one's x and which one's y. I know that my equation will be y equals 6. Okay, example number 4. Once again, write a slope-intercept equation of a line that passes through the point, -3, 2, and 4, -2. So, we got -2 and 2, and then on the bottom, we have 4 and 3. Real quick, 4 plus 3 is 7. -2 plus 2 is 0. And when we reduce that, we get that our slope is 0. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do, we know that the slope is 0. It's a special case. Okay, a special case, 0 slope, it's y equals. And what does y equal? Well, we go back, we look at the equation, and in both of those, it's y equals -2. Okay? So you got to pay attention to that. All right, now we're switching to page number 9, vertical lines. Okay, we're going to start with graphing, and same thing. When you're graphing this, pick a negative number, 0, and a positive number, and then see what it looks like. Okay, so we got -7, -5, -7, 0, and oh, that's not right. -7, +5. All right, so we got our 3 points. When we draw that line, we know, like, oh, it's standing straight up. That's a special case. We already talked about when it's 0. When it's 0, it's flat. When it's standing straight up like that, we said that that's an undefined slope. Okay? The number is so big we can't describe it. So, example number 2 says write a slope-intercept equation of the line below. Well, we just talked about it. When it's standing straight up like that, our slope is undefined. okay? And when it's undefined, it's a special equation. Right there, that point looks like 4, comma, we'll call that 4, 3. Right here, it's 4, comma, negative 3. What's the same in both of those? Well, it's x. So this is x equals 4. All right, example number 3 says write a slope-intercept equation of a line that has a slope that is undefined. Okay, so if it's undefined, we know that it's a vertical line and it's an x equals graph. Okay, so I need to pay attention to the x, and in this situation, x equals negative 3. Okay, in example number 4, we need to find the slope. So the y's go on top, the x's go on the bottom. 11 plus 2 is 13, but 6 minus 6 is 0. Whenever 0 is on the bottom, it's an undefined slope. Okay? Try it in your calculator. It's going to give you something funky. Okay? So since it's an undefined slope, I know it's going to be a special case. It's a vertical. It's an x equals, and in this example, x equals 6. Okay, now we're moving on to page number 10. Applications. So real world application. Blake has been tracking his progress and climbing stairs for the last few weeks. After 4 weeks, he was able to climb 48 stairs. After 10 weeks, he was able to climb 120 stairs. So we got that right there. That's a sentence. And that's a sentence right there. So we always want to know what our two variables are, x and y. Okay? X we talked about is always time. So that's going to be weeks, and then y's is going to be our stairs. So for example, or for question A, it says write an equation that models Blake's stair climbing practice. Let x represent the number of weeks and y represent the total stairs he can climb. Well, there you go. There's your check right there. Okay, since they give us 2 points, in the yellow, we have the point 4, 48. In the blue, we have 10 and 120. So the first thing we have to do is figure out what the slope is of this equation. So we got 120 and 48. And then we got 10 and 4. 10 minus 4, well, that's 6 on the bottom. 120 minus 48. What do you guys get? Well, let me take out my calculator. 120 minus 48, we get 72. And then when you reduce that, 72 divided by 6, you should get 12. So now when we're plugging in, 12 is our slope. And now we need to pick a point, and I'm going to pick the point with the smaller numbers. Okay? So we need to distribute. We get 12x minus 48. And then we have to add 48 to both sides. Well, what do you know? It cancels, and we get y equals 12x. Now, how many weeks will it take Blake to climb 252 stairs? So how many weeks in stairs? Well, we just talked about that weeks was our X and stairs is our Y. Okay, so when we plug into our original equation, which we just figured out, the 252 is going to be my Y, and then 12x. So to figure that out, we have to divide both sides by 12. And 252 divided by 12, what'd you guys get? Should get 21. So our answer is 21 weeks. Remember, you need to label that because I don't know if it's 21 years, okay? 21 decades. Make sure you know, okay? All right, example number 2. It says Pam has a job that pays a base salary plus commission. During one pay period, she sold 3 cars and made $875. The next pay period, she sold 6 cars and made $1,400. Write an equation to model this, okay? So if we're gonna write an equation, I wanna know what is my X and what is my Y. Anytime we're talking about money, money's always our Y. So that means the other thing we're talking about are cars. So our point, we have 2 of them. The first one's in blue. That's 3 and 875. And then the other one is 6 and 1400. So what we need to do is we need to find the slope and then plug it in. Let's pause the video and see if you can do this one all on your own. Good luck. Okay, so when you're all done, you should get y equals 175x plus 350. All right, let's move on down. B says, how many cars would Dan have to sell in order to make $1,750 in one pay period? Okay, so how many cars make 175? Cars is your X, and money was our Y. So we know what the Y is. We just have to figure out what the X is, okay? So we have to solve. Subtract 350 because we want to get the X all by itself. 1750 minus 350 gives you 1400. And the next thing to do would be to divide by 175. And you get 8 equals X. And the 8 is talking about cars. Okay, see, what does the Y represent, or the Y-intercept represent in this situation? Well, remember, we get the Y-intercept from the equation from the very top. So that point is 0, 350. The 0 equals the cars, and the 350 equals money. Okay, so what that means is if he sells no cars, his base salary is $350. Okay, so if he doesn't sell any cars, he still gets paid $350 just for showing up into work. Okay, but that's why he gets commission. It's the extra money. So he tries to sell more cars. All right, and now I'm just trying to find, there's our next page. Real world applications. Our hints tells us that when you do a problem, go through and circle all the numbers significant to the problem. Remember that two numbers in the same sentence make an ordered pair. The words per, each, and of accompany the slope. So let's read it first. It says Ricky has a starting balance of $200 in his checking account. He withdraws $10 each week for expenses. Let X represent the number of weeks and Y represent the total balance in his accounts. Okay, so right away, X is the number of weeks and Y is the total balance. Okay. Now, some other important information. It says a starting balance of $200 and he withdraws $10 each. Wasn't each one of the words that we just said that it's going to be your slope? Okay. So when we write a slope-intercept equation, y equals, I know that my slope is 10x, and we have a starting, well, hold on. He withdraws 10, so is he gaining 10 or losing 10? He's losing 10 each week, but then he has a starting balance of 200. So y equals negative 10x plus 200. How much money will he have in his account after 2 weeks? Money is our y, weeks is our x. So we have to plug that in. Y equals negative 10 plus 200. We need to plug in a 2 because that's our x. So y equals negative 20 plus 200. And then y equals 180. So after 2 weeks, he'll have $180. All right, letter C. After how many weeks will he have 150 in his account? How many weeks? Well, that's our x. And I want to know when he's going to have 150. Okay, so that's 150 is our y. And there's our equation. We have to solve for x. Okay, so we're going to subtract 200 to both sides. And we get negative 50 equals negative 10x. To get the y by itself, you have to divide by negative 10. Don't forget your negative signs. And we get that x equals 5, so that is 5 weeks. All right, example number 2. It says Enterprise charges a flat fee to rent a car and 13 cents per mile driven. That sounds kind of important. Amanda drove 210 miles and she was charged $75.30. So let's remember that x and the y. Y is money, x is miles. Let's see if you can figure this out. Remember that per is your slope. So then they gave you a point. See if you can solve it and put it into slope-intercept form for me. Okay, pause the video and good luck. Okay, there's your answer to A. And now B, it says how much would Amanda have to pay? So how much would she have to pay if she drove 125 miles? So pay is Y, this is your X. See if you can plug that in and figure out the answer to letter B. Go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, and when you plug everything in, you should get y equals $64.25. Now, that is it for the booklet. We are all done. If you have any questions, you need to come see Ms. Carranza or myself, because after this is your test. So if there's any special notes or anything you need, write that down on that extra sheet. I would write down what your slope formula is, what point slope is. Maybe you forget what vertical lines are or what horizontal lines are. Write that information down, guys. Okay? That's it for Algebra 1, Unit 3 Review Booklet, video number 2. Thank you for watching.